realize that we don't currently have a title for this podcast, so
I already told you what the title was, but you ignored me because you hated it.
That is correct. So I'm just gonna say, hey everybody, welcome to...
Hey everybody, welcome to Chatting with Spices, the offshoot to our main channel, of course, Cooking with Spices. With you, as always, is your boy. It's me, the Shti. Wait a second. No, it's me, CJ, the original red pepper spice, or as my friends always call me, CJ.
All right, and this is Ethan, and I am Salty Spice. I don't think... Can we do Admiral Sodium? Because that was off of some random guy on the internet's comic book.
Oh, really? I thought that was just your name. I mean, you can be the Admiral Sodium for all I care. He doesn't have a copyright on Admiral Sodium.
He likely does not have a copyright on Admiral Sodium.
It's, if anything, you are... I mean, if anything, that falls under parody law, right?
I am a parody of his comic book.
But what are we gonna do? So we have a Let's Play channel. It's very famous, and we will get videos up there one of these days. But until then, or maybe this comes out before, who can say, or after, I don't know. But we are going to we're gonna make games, and we're gonna skip all the hard parts, where we have to create it in Unity or Game Maker or Flash.
We will not be getting together any Monopoly pieces. We will not be sort of taking out the football and changing the rules. We are just going to be sort of pitching a concept, and then someone out there who is more skilled, has more of a
dedicated,
go-to, a can-do attitude. You guys can take that pitch and roll with it.
Sort of anyone who can function in society and sort of roll with it.
Yeah, well, this week it's not just anyone. This week we specifically need Shigeru Miyamoto to take our pitch and roll with it, because we're going to be making a new Mario game.
Yes, Shigeru, or Miyamoto-san, please... notice us. And so Mario's popular right now. He's making a comeback. We got Super Mario Maker 2 just coming out. People are making terrible levels for Mario now.
Yeah, no, everyone thought that Mario was a has-been. They were like, no new good Mario games are coming out. But
Shigeru's out of ideas. He said, let them make the games.
But yeah, I mean, anybody who is deigning to listen to this probably knows about Mario. But just sort of a quick rundown. His sort of traditional core video games are platformers. They're all about running and jumping.
Yep.
But he has branched out into damn near everything you can think of. He is in many kinds of sports games. He has little party games. He has the Olympic competitions with his good friend, the Blue Hedgehog Sonic.
Yeah, they have a fun but fair competition.
But Shigeru Miyamoto will not be satisfied until Mario is in every single type of game possible. And so we're here to help you out, Daddy Miyamoto.
We're gonna fill in those gaps because I know it's busy over there. The release windows in Japan are just, I mean, they're super tight. They've been working on Metroid for like 18 years. They've got that going. They the new Animal Crossing's coming out, and they got a lot on their plate.
They got a lot on their plate. They're trying to beat the next Cooking Mama game to the box office with Cooking Mario.
Yeah,
and that one I'm really looking forward to that one. Pre-ordered it right away.
It's just, so here's the thing about Mario. So it's like he's an Italian. He must love Italian food, but he's only ever eating mushrooms. So my immediate thought for a Cooking Mario game is that he eats spaghetti, but he's never eaten spaghetti in any of his games. I don't think it's all mushrooms and like nuts and
I don't know. I remember what is the name of his voice actor?
That's why we got the magic of the internet. Mario voice actor.
I remember hearing a clip of him just like doing words that people wanted him to say, and one of them, spaghetti.
Yeah. That's Charles Martinet.
Yes, I love that man.
Yeah, he's very good. He does all the voices.
Not enough to remember his name, but I do love him.
Well, it's because he's like a French guy that voices a Japanese Italian plumber.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need a French guy, like someone who really looks down on the Italians to do a proper.
Oh yes, it is a me. I'm a stereotype. Woohoo! All right, we've got Mario games. We got Mario games of all genres. What are we missing? What do we need? Daddy Miyamoto is out there listening intently to English podcasts, as he does. What does he want? He's watering at the mouth, Ethan. Give him what he wants.
All right, today we're gonna be I'm gonna be pitching you a Mario roguelite, and a sort of real quick rundown. A roguelike game is one in which sort of death is permanent. Once you have died, you start the game over completely from scratch, and it usually involves like collecting random items and power-ups and going through a randomized sort of challenge area. A roguelite, which is what we're going to be working on, is the same sort of concept, but it will have minor elements that you will be able to keep from run to run. So you will make little bits of progress, but overall you'll still be sort of collecting power-ups and going through areas fresh every time.
All right, and we went through the list. I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist on a Mario genre.
Yeah, no, that would shut our podcast down pretty quick if you were on that Wikipedia page and it's like, oh, actually, here you go.
Here it is. No, it's generally these games have a objective, an end goal that you're trying to get to one way or the other. And Mario's always been really good about mobility and the different the ways that you have to get around. That's what people love about it. That's why people can still play Super Mario 64 today, and it still feels good.
And anyone who says different is wrong.
Yeah. Only 90 kids will remember what it felt like to make Mario. Sometime you can make him crouch, and then he fly into the air higher than before. You turn around fast, and he'd do side jump and go higher into the air. Are all his jumps just ways to go higher into the air? I guess there's also the long jump.
I mean, that one does make you go higher into the air, but also farther across the ground.
All right, so you're gonna take my boy Mario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am going to. I'm gonna sort of make a pitch for you here for my Mario roguelite. And you're going to listen, and I'm sure rarely interrupt.
Yeah.
And you'll be feel free to sort of add to my my concept here when you've got a good idea brewing. And I'm a big boy, so feel free to give me those that constructive criticism.
All right. What if Mario had different kinds of hats?
Okay.
I mean, ship it, right?
All right, yeah, I'm going to take that one. I'm going to put it in the back pocket, right, and we'll come back to it later, I'm sure.
All right,
so here we go. This is the Mario roguelite. Mm-hmm. All right, so for starters, this is going to be a little bit of that sort of goofier, off-brand type Mario. I'm thinking more in the comedy lines of like the Mario and Luigi series, that like Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story, right?
Vor Simulator, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it, not me. Kinda.
All right. No, that's good. That's good to figure out what we're about on this sort of first episode here.
We're not about shaming people and what they like. We're about accepting people who think that it's sexy to get eaten by Bowser. Whoever that may be.
All right. Keeping on my track of thought here. All right, so yeah, we're gonna be doing a one that's gonna be a little more off color, but still sort of like in that Mario canon. And in this game, we are going to have it's another plot by Bowser to kidnap Princess Peach and finally convince her to love him. And he just all he really wants is a girlfriend, but he wants one specific girlfriend of a different species who wants nothing to do with him. And we've all been there, so he's a very relatable character.
I've been there 4 times today.
Don't you work, right?
No.
All right. So Bowser's plan this time is he is going to be designing a game and sort of covertly invite people to play it. And he's got his very simple plan that he may or may not sort of show on a PowerPoint slide is step 1, get Princess Peach addicted to this game. Okay. Step 2, using cheat codes, he can show up as the super great best player of the game. And step 3, using his cheating skill at the game, he will help Princess Peach with difficult parts and win her heart. So this is Bowser's plan as he convinces Princess Peach to play his roguelite dungeon that he has made.
Okay.
There's a snag that he finds pretty early on in that Princess Peach is absolutely amazing at the game he has made. And she not only is she having no difficulty that she needs help with, but she actually has got into a sort of endless run that she simply cannot be beaten out of. Princess Peach is trapped in the game because she is too good to be beaten.
So Peach is an elite gamer grill, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. No more is Princess Peach simply being kidnapped. She's just too dang good to be doing anything else. So after a little bit of time, right, Kingdom's not being run anymore because Princess Peach is too busy playing them games, and Bowser is like, "Aw, beans, this is not working out for me." So he is going to sort of enlist anybody who will listen, and that's our Mario Bros. To join in his game and to sort of collect the cheat codes of their own and get all the way like deep into the dungeon and finally get Princess Peach to put the game down for a second and go back to running her kingdom.
So this game has a message about fighting addiction by filling the void that addiction creates and just making it too hard. Oof. All right. Don't look up Bowser and Peach on the internet, by the way. Just let that sleeping dog lie. But so we're playing as Mario trying to beat a game that was designed by Bowser to be really hard.
Right, exactly. And so this sort of it opens up a lot of room for some goofy interaction. I like the idea of that Bowser is sort of the character in the little like hub opening space, right, that you're talking to, and you two are sort of like working together to get Princess Peach out of this. That's always a good goofy time. And I think there's a lot of time with the roguelite games where you have like multiple characters you can play as that have slight variations, and so that's plenty of fun when we got our Mario and Luigi who play a little different. We're pulling out all the stops here, so why not throw in Toad, throw in like Wario, throw in everyone but Waluigi because he does not get to be in any game.
I assume he'll be there, he just won't be playable.
Yeah, I do like the idea of you sort of like you meet him somewhere in the dungeon and you have a sad conversation with him about how he did not get to be one of the playable characters.
You just play tennis against him. That's really the only thing he does.
It's
all right. So you've got your concept. There's a very difficult game? How do you enter this game? Is it a physical place? Does Bowser use his vast resource to just make a game world, or do you take a pixel pipe and you just go into a game because that's how Mario works?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways that we could go about sort of pulling them into it, but I think it might be easiest and sort of a good tongue-in-cheek where this game does sort of physically exist in their world. Like, Bowser has sort of created another, like, huge castle that is able to sort of rotate and randomize itself, and so Mario has to actually enter this Bowser castle that Peach is in somewhere, just wrecking face. So this is our sort of, like, story that we come in with, and so as we've said, Mario games, they cover ridiculous variety of genres, but in pretty much all of them, it is the core idea that Mario games are more approachable. It should be accessible. If you see a Mario game, you should feel comfortable with a sort of beginner or a younger person picking them up and not being sort of turned away by intense difficulty.
So you want those casual gamers. The scourge of gaming is who you're trying to appeal to?
I think Shigeru Miyamoto would like those casual gamers. And
he would. He accepts all skill levels. So all right. So we want to make a roguelite that is not as difficult as, say, what's sort of our metric of an existing game?
So yeah, I think as sort of a baseline, we can maybe compare it to Binding of Isaac, sure. That's a pretty popular one. And I think that sort of the base difficulty, like interacting with the game, like enemy challenge level, that Binding of Isaac is fine. I think the big difference that we're going to have here is that I want item builds to be a little more straightforward. Definitely, rogue games of any kind are known for having a sort of high burden of knowledge where you really need to know what the items are when you're picking them up, because there are usually items that sort of contradict each other. If you pick up one and then you pick up another, like, they might cancel out each other's effects or be less effective together. And so I want to ease back on that a little bit. And I also want to, bring in a unique element so that this game can stand on its own as something interesting in the roguelite genre, rather than just being, hey, we put a Mario skin over Binding of Isaac.
All right, because they are known to do that, I do believe we described an XCOM game with Mario.
We did describe that, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. Shigeru Miyamoto now has the best of the best, who can't even say this phrase correctly.
That's a good sign. I mean, we are I am the target demographic. I'm a bad gamer. I'm a bad one. And I'm bad, but I'm also bad. And I need a game that makes me feel good and accomplished for solving simple baby tasks. But as I get older and more experienced, I need a game that makes me feel like I'm very good at it as well. He is being quite self-deprecating there, but I would say that CJ Red Pepper Spice is in fact the core demographic of this game. That's right. All I want is Mario to have different hats that help him through his adventure and that make him look like a cat.
Yeah, we're definitely keeping that one in our back pocket until we pull it out and use it in all of its golden glory.
So we've got a more straightforward item build. That's what we need to keep focused on this whole time. Because like you said, it gets cumbersome to try and figure out what every single item does in like a 500 item set and how they interact with each other. So question one, do the items interact with each other in a lot of ways, or is it more per item? Because we're talking about every run has to feel like it builds on the last, A, and B, we have to have a unique feel to each run. So, the whole point of a roguelite is that they allow for you to feel like that every run is different because the circumstances are different, even though the core mechanics are the same. So, you got items. What do you got? What's happening here?
Yeah, so definitely with items, I think we do want to have items that sort of work together better than others, that sort of mesh, and that you can make a little build around. players like to learn things in advance, and again, we do want to keep those runs unique.
I want the star.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to be invincible from the star.
Our focus is more so going to be on sort of shying away from having those items that contradict one another and having items that have negative impacts on you. I think we would very likely have maybe even no items that have a sort of drawback with a positive, because they're just a little bit more complicated, and I think that's is not really in the Mario style. It's possible that we could have maybe like a separate character. Maybe like Wario has his own things that he's a little bit more complicated. He has some drawbacks and positives for more advanced players, but definitely when you're going into that core experience, I want it to be a little more straightforward for you.
Right. And we need to sort of define these differences, right? Because Wario is known for his big dick energy, but that doesn't translate one-to-one with, sort of the platforming roguelite genre.
Yeah, well, and let's talk about that quick, because
we're talking about big dick energy. I mean, we can do that. I thought this was going to be about
no, I was going to kind of just gloss over that one and assume that we were going to edit that out later, but that's fine.
I think that's going to make the cut. It's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. Now, a sort of unique element that we're going to have in this roguelite is that we are going to have sort of two alternating modes of play. When Mario walks into a room, it is going to be randomized whether it is a 2D side-scrolling room or whether it is a 3D space, kind of like the Super Mario World series. And so he will, you'll say you go into one of these 3D rooms, and there are there's an exit on every side, north, south, east, west, and if you go through the east one, it just so happens that this time that room is a two-dimensional room, and you'll now be playing in a 2D space, and your exits will be left, right, up, down. And so this is going to be, something that's a little bit different. It'll still feel a little bit familiar to Mario players, because this is both types of platforming are something that Mario has a lot of history with. But it's going to be something that changes up the roguelite experience from just doing, a Binding of Isaac clone.
So when we talk about items, when we talk about upgrades, we're looking at two different sort of dynamics, right? The 3D and the 2D Marios are familiar, but they're very different enough to play totally different games.
Right, yeah, and I think this is where we can sort of capitalize on that items not having negative drawbacks, is that we don't have to build items that have negatives to them to make the runs feel unique, because we can have items that are sort of solely good for one of these two type of rooms, or vastly better for one of these two types of rooms. And you'll find that as your builds develop, you're sort of much more inclined to or you're going to excel much more at one of the types of rooms over the other. And so in this way, you don't have to pick up that item that is every time you miss a shot, you lose a health or something, negative like that is a real downer. You can instead just have the item that is this blue shell is only useful in 3D space, so that doesn't help me in my 2D run, but it also doesn't hurt me.
All right. So now, now we're sort of cooking here. We've got our core dynamic, which is we're doing Mario games, but we are randomly switching a little bit between the styles. And we've got our item sets that probably, give us a bonus, but maybe not as pronounced bonus as, say, like a Fire Flower in the previous games, which totally changes the dynamic of the game until you lose. Well, that's the other thing. Are you going to lose power-ups? Are you going to go and...
Yeah, I think it fits really well with Mario to have certain power-ups that you pick up that it's like, right, once you've been hurt once or a couple times that you lose it. But it is also... It's kind of like if you only pick up power-ups that are eliminated on being hit, it almost stops being a roguelite and starts just being a randomized Mario game. Now you're just playing some weird kid's Mario Maker run, and that's no good. You need to only pick the ones that have high ratings.
The auto. So we're just gonna put auto-scrolling music levels in here.
If we start to put auto-scrolling music levels in, I think that maybe Shigeru's going to go with somebody else. He's maybe going to go with the Rabid team again, and we do not want those running around in our roguelite.
Really? I was actually just going to ask where in all of this do the Rabbids fit in, because they're lovable characters, and I think they would make great allies or adversaries.
All right, I will give you a choice. We can keep one thing in our back pocket, and it's going to be the Rabbids or the hats.
The problem is with the Rabbids, right? Is they are the minions of the video gaming world. Everyone loves them, and you can't hate them. But the thing about hats is that they are hats. I guess we're going to stick with hats, but don't think that I'm not constantly thinking about Peach Rabbid going through this level and taking photos with her cell phone. Well, now that's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, all right. So we've got the hats in the back pocket, and we've got the Rabbids in the trash back there.
It's harsh. Have some... It could have been Rayman. It could have easily been Rayman, but it was Rabbids. So
Rayman's a cute boy. But, all right. So we have these, these items that you're picking up, and I imagine that these sort of rooms that we're coming into, you're going to have Mario enemies in them. You'll have sort of your traditional Mario jump on them mechanics, but I think it also makes sense to sort of have a basic like forward smacking attack, and that could be something as straightforward as like in the Super Mario 64 he just his little punch kick combo.
Yes, of course.
And so, you'll have these groups of enemies, but it'll probably, especially as you're going deeper into the game, be more hectic than you've really seen in a traditional Mario level. There'll be more like, there's 30 hammer bros chucking hammers at you here. 30 is too many. 30 is Mario Maker levels, but you understand what I mean. You've maybe got like 5 hammer bros, which is many more than you would expect in a traditional Mario level, but at this point you'll have some more power-ups that help you deal with those in different ways. And we've got so many different items that we can pull from because we can pull from the entire Mario canon, so you can be picking up things like you pick up a blue shell from the Mario Kart Racing series, and now, you chuck that one and it just goes at the biggest monster in the room and damages them or whatever.
Right, don't worry, brother. You used blue shell twice for your example item. I've got you covered here. Let's see what kind of genius items we can pull from.
I just love the blue shell.
We're gonna have the dizzy dial. All right, that's gonna happen. We're gonna have egg. Everyone's favorite item from the Paper Mario series. We're gonna get in there. We're ironically no mushrooms, just not a single mushroom.
Not a single mushroom.
We're gonna get the repel gel, and then we're gonna get a 10-minute long cutscene of Mario applying the repel gel to every part of him. to make him temporarily invisible. It takes so long that sort of the first parts that he applies the gel to are becoming visible again by the time he's done, so he has to just redo it. And so that's why the cutscene takes so long, because you're just sort of watching him cycle different parts of him being invisible.
All right, yeah, thank you very much. You've definitely got my brain juices flowing now.
Did you? Because I've got more. I mean,
that's all right. I'm gonna pick up where you're putting down here. We'll do a little switch off.
Okay. Because I mean, tasty tonic. Maybe
yeah.
Mario gets a little tipsy, huh? Maybe
No, I think when people are thinking of Mario, they immediately think of the tasty tonic.
Oh,
but
shit, I was wrong. Mario eats spaghetti in Paper Mario.
Oh, very nice.
You gotta just bring it to.
Oh yeah, you gotta bring it to Taste Tea.
Bring it to Taste Tea. It looks like she'll make something for you. All right.
But okay, yeah. So we've also got stuff. We've got maybe like the spiked boots. You get the ground pound ability. The you can CJ. You could do different hats.
Oh, all right. So now we're starting to get into the meat of it. So are we talking like hats with tiny feet on them? Or maybe...
Where did hats with tiny feet on them come from?
It's like hats with little wings on them. But it allows Mario... Mario to run on his hat instead of flying.
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right, so you tell me you don't want to see Mario do a jump, and instead of doing a full front flip like he does sometimes, he goes, wah, 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 and then instead of completing that cycle, he just fucking headbutts straight into the ground and
then starts running on his little hat feet. It's
like in Paper Mario 2 when you're riding little Yoshi. It's actually faster, even though the feetsies are small.
No, I'll tell you, that's so good I can't get the image out of my head now.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna try.
You can take the shoes off and there's tiny little feet in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different items that we can make up here, but the general idea of them is that they're going to sort of give Mario new attack options. They're going to give Mario changes to his movements. Definitely ones that allow him the raccoon tail that allows him to sort of hover for a little bit is a very useful one. We could look at the cape might be a little much, where it's just, you just fly over the whole level and just sort of wait for the enemies to get bored.
Well, the cape comes in many iterations, right? Let's pull from Super Smash Bros. Cape just flips out and repels things.
And repels, that's fun.
So we have any and all items of Mario to choose from. They give you upgrades anywhere from making Mario slippery like a fish. To flying around in the air. So tell me, what's the progression like? We're talking about individual runs, what they're about. How are we gonna handle death? Because I gotta say, Shigeru kind of strays away from using death as like a mechanic, right? Like it's been a lot more casual lately. You've got Super Mario Odyssey where you die, you lose $10. You've got even in Super Mario 64, if you run out of lives, you game over, but you don't lose your progress. You just have to go back outside, which I guess is inconvenient. But the crux of a roguelite is that there needs to be runs. There needs to be a hard reset on your upgrades so that you can start over and try again, but also there needs to be progression. How, my dear boy, are you going to handle Mario's untimely doom?
Yeah, so there's no way around it. It's simply not a roguelite if you, sort of save your progress at a little flag you tap and then just start over from there. So we will have to have the sort of run be done when Mario has been slain. We have a lot of room for having some sort of goofy fun with that. I definitely like the idea of sort of the traditional, like, when Mario's run out of lives screen of, like, Bowser's face zooming in, and he's laughing, and then we sort of come out into the main area, and it is just Bowser laughing at how you failed there. We definitely have some room to sort of ease that, because it is a roguelite, and so we're going to leave some room for progression. We're definitely going to have a little bit of coin collection that can be sort of spent at the beginning of runs that allow you to maybe pick up your favorite item, pick up your favorite thing to sort of start the run with, and maybe you can exclusively pick up those kinds of items that are gone after you get hit once or twice, so we don't have a just like consistently this is what you need to do at the start of every run, but just sort of like, hey, if you feel more confident starting with a fire flower or a hat with feet on it, then you do you, man. And then we are also going to have the permanent progression that is going to be going on of getting these cheat codes. So Bowser has lost his cheat codes there across the dungeon, the roguelite. And if you want to stand any chance of getting as deep in as Peach is, you are going to have to collect them up. And so going through, you're going to have runs that bring you through certain areas, and if you're able to complete that run, then you will, you fight the boss, you unlock Bowser's cheat code. And some of these are going to give you some sort of slight permanent gains, but I definitely don't want it to sort of focus on that the game just becomes easy peasy when you have all these cheat codes. I'm imagining them as more of a sort of just like barriers to progression. Like you get one cheat code that makes you immune to like magma or something, and the next area that you're going for cheat codes is the one that is just like all magma. And
Shigeru's not gonna like magma and vulnerability. That's sort of he's texting me right now. He's saying Mario must die to magma.
He's listening while we're recording here, right?
I mean, I do have a Nintendo Switch plugged in somewhere around the house. I'm sure he can hear us.
All right, that is excellent. Well, don't you worry, Shigeru, because honestly, that could be anything. We could do little bramble patches. We could do... I know that you're a big fan of Mario being melted in acid, but we could make him invulnerable to acid instead.
I thought you were going to say he was a fan of Mario being eaten whole in an erotic fashion. Can he be immune to that so he can be inside of a person but be fully alive?
I think likely he's just going to start the game immune to being eaten whole.
Well, Shigeru's not going to like that. I guess I'll talk to him. He is, he can be reasoned with, but he only speaks in riddles. So
and Japanese.
And Japanese. So not everything translates directly. I think we've got a good start here. I think Shigeru, when you listen to this, coiled up in your Princess Peach blanket, with your Mario Odyssey hat, sleeping hat on, I think you'll say, I do not understand these, but I do love to hear their voices.
I was wondering if you were going to do a Shigeru Miyamoto accent or not. And
the problem is he does speak Japanese. And only understands Japanese. And I don't know if...
we actually have no idea. He could be multilingual.
Hold on. So can Shigeru Miyamoto... No, it says that he only speaks Japanese and in riddles, actually. So... if anyone can get us into contact with him and translate this into like a haiku, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, if someone could pitch him this game, but sort of, in several pieces that all sort of give answers towards one another without giving away the whole thing. Okay, yeah, so CJ, I have sort of given you the crux of my pitch here. Do you have anything that you want to sort of fill in or give me some questions on?
All right. The kids these days want DLC. They want more items every once in a while. Do you do a Magic the Gathering, make a new item set to keep things simple but new? Do you add items on top of other items? what do we do to keep this game alive? Nintendo likes to milk their ideas for all that's worth. We need expansions. We just finished the first one. In our mind space, you and I have created and then played through this whole game.
Yeah, we've done the hard part. Now you get to work, developers.
Yeah, but now we need DLC. It's all ready. It's the next day. We have a gaming hangover, and we need that sweet Mario roguelite. Are we going to add downloadable characters? Do we get what's Birdo in there? You know, do we in Binding of Isaac? You've got like characters that start out with different stats. So, do we get Birdo and he shoots eggs? He shoots eggs.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Yeah, Yoshi is canonically a female, and they are very much in love. I think they're very much in lust. What kind of. If you know where you can expand, you know where all of the options are coming from. You know what your characters bring to the table, what the items bring to the table, what the levels bring to the table. You're going to add more enemies. You know, we need some variation, but we also, like you said, need to keep it easy.
All right, yeah, so that's... You sort of shocked me there because that was a really good and insightful question.
And more dances for Bowser Jr.
Yeah, it's one then the other.
I think if he did like a break dance, but on his little shell spikes, that would be cute.
That would certainly be cute.
Skins and more guns as well.
Yeah, more guns for sure.
And Thanos.
But, no, you make a good point, though, that we do want to keep the game sort of, if not simple, accessible. Mm-hmm. And, as you sort of get, like, item bloat from DLC, from keeping on adding more and more stuff, then that usually adds to the complexity in a way that we're not looking for. And to be honest, it's always something that I don't like when I'm playing a roguelite and I'm a big fan of it. I don't like when they add in a bunch of new items and I'm kind of like, oh, well, now the, chance for these items I do like is lower and this is all different now. So I think a way that, we can make Nintendo happy, we can have those DLCs, but, also not bloat the system, is that we can have a core of items that everyone gets their hands on, but then we can also have groupings of items that only show up for each different character. So perhaps the wing hat or the feet hat only shows up for Mario.
Thank God.
And then there are certain upgrades. I've imagined this whole time Wario having his like traditional elbow charge, and he maybe has like certain items that he can find that are exclusive to him that interact with that ability. And so we can be adding new DLC characters, and they will each have their own unique sets of items that are added to them, but they aren't sort of bloating the core. If you want to still have a straightforward experience and play with Mario, then that isn't, unlocking finally Waluigi's in it for real, that isn't going to make your Mario experience any more complicated.
And let's talk about character inclusion. Ethan, the kids these days love gender equality. They love female representation. If Princess Peach is already in the castle, I mean, we're down one precious little Nintendo female character. We need to get some ladies in there. Obviously, Daisy, gamer girl to the max. Whereas Peach is sort of the beautiful streamer girl. Obviously, Daisy's a bit more Gremlin-esque. She gets the grind going. But I'm not saying it's our fault, all right? Nintendo's got a ways to go when it comes to getting some girls in there. But we need to do it too. Let's see. Monty Mole, turns out she's a girl.
Yeah, it's Montilda.
Oh, that's true. Monty's sort of a male name. All right, Goombette. She's a character.
She is a character.
She doesn't have arms.
I will admit that I initially sort of thought of the idea of those being some sort of wink nod upgrades you could get when you get like a Goombet themed upgrade, or one from that your little cloud buddy from Mario RPG that everyone wanted to see in Smash Bros, which was never going to happen.
Well, little puppet boy.
We've got a little item for them there. But yeah, we've definitely got Daisy. We've got Rosalina, which I think we've just exhausted the sort of classic Nintendo female roster.
We got them, but here we go. Toadette.
Toadette, absolutely.
After Toadette on this list comes Blue Toad and Yellow Toad.
Blue Toad and Yellow Toad are girls?
No, but they are on the list of characters that exist in Mario.
Oh, excellent. Definitely, I've been looking for somewhere to work him in this entire podcast here, but Gooigi is going to be a playable character.
You heard it here first. Gooigi confirmed for Super Mario Rogue, I assume, is the name, because that is how Nintendo names things.
That is how Nintendo names things.
We've got Pauline. She's
been in.
She's back. She's better than ever. She is in Mario Tennis now.
Mm-hmm.
She is in Mario Odyssey, and she's now in Mario Rogue. Rogue Mario. Rogue Squadron. Mario.
Do they still own the Kangs, the Diddy Kang and the Dixie Kang?
The Kangs are on this list. I'm sure they could get them if they don't. I don't think Rare exists anymore, so I think they can pull in the Kangs.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too deep into and just throw some Zelda and Metroid characters in there,
I was thinking about that too. We can't just be...
I think the Kongs are kind of they usually get a pass and can kind of just be thrown into Mario things when the situation is open to it.
I think that's fine. What do we think about everyone's favorite character, Reznor, the fire-breathing Triceratops that makes their debut in Super Mario World? Those are maybe enemies.
What do I think about Reznor? Who, yes, it is indeed an enemy.
But maybe we see the other side of things. Maybe Reznor just is trying to provide for his Rezlings.
Maybe I've been going about this all wrong. Maybe the campaign is all about Reznor.
Can we talk about some of the absolutely terrible names that Nintendo has real quick? Such as Wingo, who's the main antagonist, and Captain Toad. Captain Toad, by the way, an amazing character to have in this, just can't jump. I don't know if it's even possible to beat the game.
Oh, yeah, I was initially thinking when you said that of Captain Toad just kind of as another character that you just sort of run into in there that maybe helps you out. He's just
yeah, that would probably make sense.
I was going to try and do the Toad voice, but yeah, very good.
Holy fuck! I'm stuck here. Anyway,
oh no, Captain Toad. Yeah, Captain Toad, here, I'll trade you this hat with feet on it if you could maybe just give me anything else.
I don't really want that. That is a cursed hat.
No, here, you can have this one for freebies, actually.
Oh, no, I insist. Here, please, just take some coins and go away.
Alright, I guess this one time, but if you change your mind...
No.
If you get the foot hat, you just have it out of the game. How much does this... What's the title of this game? You haven't come up with a title. Is that part of this process?
What's the title? Well, I definitely... I think that's part of this process, but I also think that this is going to be part where I hand it over to you.
Super Mario Shoe Hat. 64.
All right.
Let's see what we've got.
You're looking at current Super Mario titles?
I'm just gonna throw some out there, and you tell me when I hit the right one. Mario and Luigi Super Rogues in Odyssey. Now I'm just mixing the words together.
Yeah, no, you are just currently taking other Mario titles.
Mario Infinite.
Super Mario Bowser's Big Game.
That's like legitimately good. I was hoping more for like Super Mario Eternal Deluxe Edition U for the Wii. We're releasing it for the Wii, and we're not gonna port it to anything else.
It was our best seller, and we're just gonna stick with the Wii now.
Super Mario made by Bowser. It's a pun off of the other one.
Oh, okay.
Does it make let's see. What about Super Mario? Wouldn't it be funny if Mario did mushrooms and smoked pipes and stuff?
Super Mario Mushroom Maze.
Super. It doesn't have to have super in it. That seems like we're going towards that.
Let me ask you: does the Rabbids game have super in the name?
No.
No, it's Mario and Rabbids. Okay, we can drop super then.
Can we? Okay, so it looks like it's gotta have Mario in the title. I don't see any games sort of in the main line that don't have
absolutely
Mario in it. So let's do Mario and Sonic do random games.
Mario and Sonic, but Sonic's not here, and there's a randomized dungeon that you have to go through.
They could get Sonic. They could put Sonic in the game.
I don't want that.
I don't know. They use the year a lot. What about Mario 2020? Hindsight is dead again. It's a James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mario finds Allah and also does a bunch of random stuff.
All right, yeah, that's the one. We're gonna go with Mario finds Allah and also does a bunch of random other stuff.
All right,
Okay.
That was surprisingly easy to come up with a name. I thought it would take a lot longer.
All right, so this has been my pitch for a Mario roguelite. This has been my pitch for Mario finds Allah and also does a bunch of random other stuff.
And this has been my take on that pitch, and sort of
right.
my whatever the opposite of contribution is.
All right. Well, speaking of your contribution, CJ, I have a fun little game at the end here for you.
I thought naming it was the fun game because I'm glad you have another one. I don't feel like I won that game, and I feel like this game should be all about feeling like a winner.
Okay, well, I think I've got the perfect setup for you to feel like a winner.
Okay,
I am going to give you a concept right now, just like a word, some words basically, and I want you to build a pitch out of it, a 5-minute pitch for me.
Yeah, okay.
And it is going to be random nonsense. This is my section, terrible 5-minute game pitch.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. And so I need you to make me a game that is all about keeping well hydrated.
Okay. Yeah.
And the main character's sort of power is going to be based upon him being properly hydrated.
Okay, is this are we still in the Mario universe or does this go everywhere?
No, we're free now.
Oh.
Mario's been put together with Allah, and we're done with that one.
Yep. All right. So I've got this. So off the bat, you play as a buxom goo girl, and you are very attractive. This goo girl. You get the googly eyes from all the boys, but one day the sun is particularly hot, and you've lost most of your mass of goo to the heat. You're just sweating off the goo.
Mm-hmm. You sort of lost mass in all the spots that you're supposed to have it.
Exactly. So you become a very slim, attractive goo girl, but still a much smaller one. Maybe even smaller than that. Maybe you become like an actual goo droplet. And so you must traverse this dry desert scape that has become to find goo wells or water wells that are being guarded by your usual anime antagonists, right? You've got another goo girl that's just trying to gain your mass in all the right places. You've got a sort of a very, I think just that is really what I was trying to get at. Just a bunch of other goo girls that are trying to take your goo. And as you progress through this game, as you get properly hydrated with your goo, with your ooze, and you become more closely resembling your previous self, you're able to get the NPCs to do more things for you, and they will take you to other places where your goo has evaporated to.
I could listen to you say the word goo all day,
and you might now, because the title of this game is Goo.
Is it, how many O's are in that?
It kind of trails off, like
okay.
I did. So it's like GOO, and then it trails off into these little droplets, and then colon, which are also goo droplets.
Okay. Yep.
And then it says got goo, and then we get sued by the milk industry because they're like, that doesn't even count as parody.
All right.
There it is. I took your pretty not sexy idea and I made it sexy. That's what this was about, right?
That is what I should have expected. Absolutely.
All right. So 2 great game ideas. Nintendo, honestly, you're doing some weird stuff these days. Take that second one, roll with it. You can figure the rest out.
But all right. This has been our very first episode of Chatting with Spices.
Yeah, that's right. So remember, we have a Twitter at Spices With, where we tweet out hilarious posts and probably pictures of cats. We've got our channel, Cooking with Spices. We have got our Twitch stream at Cooking with Spices. Join us in the spice rack. Let's get spicy. Let's get hot and bothered. And I'm still thinking about Goo Girls.
Feel free to tweet at us or join us in the Discord if you have
pictures of Goo Girls.
If you have pictures of Goo Girls, or if you have your own sort of concept that you want us to make a pitch for, or if you have better titles for the pitches that we have made, which might be a bit of a challenge, but I believe that the combined power of the internet can make it happen.
Yeah, no, I don't know where this series will take us. I'm thinking maybe the naming of the games might be the best, strongest part that we're bringing to the table, so... yeah, good luck with that. I mean, if there's room for improvement, I don't see it. Keep in mind, this is where we would plug a product if anyone would call me back. Looking at you, Mountain Dew. I've been calling you Gamer Fuel for the past 10 years. You gotta throw me a bone. All right, my man. What's your final words of wisdom? What do you?
We need a sign off, don't we?
Well, yeah, that didn't count. That's just where that's just where advertisements go.
Yeah. All right.
If you send $10 in an envelope and address it to CJ and Ethan and just put it in the mail and we get it, we'll say your name on air.
That's our current advertisement.
It can be in quarters. I don't care.
All right. This has been Chatting with Spices, and we are. I am Admiral Sodium.
Yeah, and I'm Red Pepper.
And this is us making your meal just a little hotter.
Yeah, let's stew down. Let's spice up and ready to go.
We're here giving you the rub down.
Oh, well, that's hot. Yeah, here we are, dry rubbing you out.